Hello and welcome back to Picks and Portraits. Now, this is going to be a little different from what we usually do. With the 43rd Annual Toronto International Film Festival wrapping up, I thought it'd be fun to make a video talking about some of the movies that I saw this year. But first, I'd like to give a little bit of background on the festival. It was founded in 1976 as the Festival of Festivals, with the screenings taking place in the Ontario Place Cinesphere. It has since grown into the largest public film festival in the world, with screenings taking place at venues all over the city. While I have not visited it quite as extensively as I have this year in the past, I've always really appreciated what Tiff brings to Toronto. Every September, the city not only welcomes Hollywood, but an entire world of cinema. And while a lot of the festival's most popular films are going to get distribution and wide release, there's plenty that this is really the only place you're ever going to see them. In my opinion, we are very lucky to have Tiff, and when picking my films this year, I was really searching for a variety that would showcase what the festival has to offer. The first film we're going to be taking a look at is Cities of Last Things, directed by Ho Ding. This film explores the life of a police officer through all the different relationships that he's formed. Visually it's striking, but what I found most interesting was its use of the 3-act structure to present 3 different nights in this person's life. It jumps around and plays with time. We are introduced to characters as well as traits in old age, and the story moves backwards through youth and adolescence, ending in infancy. Ho Ding has created a realistic future that feels lived in. He's crafted an emotionally intense character study with subjects that feel like real people. While we only see 2 or sometimes just 1 day in these people's lives, there's a strong understanding of who they are. I was very much looking forward to this film and can say it did not disappoint. I loved it. Next, we're going to be looking at Emma Asante's Where Hands Touch. This film looks at Nazi Germany and the Holocaust through the eyes of a 16-year-old woman of color. By all accounts, Lena is German. She was born to an Aryan mother and has a strong sense of nationalism, but eventually the color of her skin makes her a target. We follow her as she struggles with this unique identity along the unfortunate path most Holocaust movies take. Asante was researching this film for 12 years, and I think it's extremely important that these experiences are shared. I would love to see a documentary based off of her research. However, a large part of Where Hands Touch is centered around Lena and her sexual awakening and relationship with a member of the Hitler Youth. Lutz is not a reluctant Nazi, just a Nazi who's made one exception. I found myself unable to become invested in the relationship because personally I cannot humanize or really care about a Nazi's feelings. Still, I think it's great that Asante is bringing attention to these experiences that have been largely ignored. After watching those 2 films with pretty heavy subject matter, I was in the mood for something a little more lighthearted. Going into Nick Ham's Driven, my only real frame of reference for DeLorean was Back to the Future. Driven is my favorite type of biopic. It doesn't start at birth and end at death. Instead, it focuses on a brief period of automotive maverick John DeLorean's life. I thought it was interesting that even though the founding of the DeLorean Motor Company serves as the film's backdrop, John really is a supporting character. The film's real star is his neighbor Jim, a drug-smuggling FBI informant. The 2 develop a friendship, and when things eventually get tough for John, he reaches out to Jim for help. I went into this movie blindly with very little expectations, and was absolutely blown away. I really enjoyed the acting. The film stars Judy Greer, Lee Pace, and Jason Sudeikis. All were great. And the story itself was super interesting. Again, I had no idea really what a DeLorean was beyond a time machine, and learned it was actually a pretty terrible car. Funny story, they actually had a DeLorean on the red carpet, but it reportedly broke down and needed to be jump-started by a cabbie. So far, everything I've talked about has either got distribution or will likely be getting distribution. The same cannot be said for the many shorts that are shown at the festival. Short films are collected and presented as a part of TIFF's Shortcuts programming. What I love about this is the variety it offers. This year I saw Program 8, and we're just going to take a look at a couple of the shorts that really stood out to me. First we have Charles Williams' All These Creatures. It is the story of a son dealing with the effects of his father's mental illness. He fears not only his father's actions, but the idea that he could be predisposed genetically to the same fate. It's not a stretch to say that All These Creatures was not only the best film I saw during the Shortcuts program, but the best film I saw throughout the entire festival. The other standout was This Magnificent Cake by Emma de Swaff and Mark James Rolls. This film examines Belgian colonialism through 5 interconnected stories. It's very surreal and features some of the most impressive stop motion I've ever seen. I'm particularly fond of its use of material and textures, specifically how they reflect water. It's very satisfying. The last film we're going to be taking a look at is a part of TIFF's Midnight Madness series. Emma Tammy's The Wind is a tale of madness on the western frontier. Through broken narrative, we follow a settler as she breaks from reality. She is haunted by disturbing visions and unending paranoia. Allegedly, it was inspired by true stories of prairie women losing their minds due to the sound of the wind. The only kind of horror movies that really scare me are the atmospheric. Sometimes it's scarier when something's not there, and The Wind does an excellent job at creating a sense of isolation. This film is terrifying. I love the fact that Tiff includes films like this in its programming. Once again, I am so thankful that Tiff is a part of my city, and I hope this video has given you an idea of the range of films that it showcases. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up, and if you're new here, by all means, please subscribe and check out some of our other videos. As always, thanks for watching.